everyone, and welcome to another video of Once Upon a Story. I'm Snow White. So nice to see you all. Today I'm here to read you my story. But before we start, I wanted to show you a couple of things. You need to know, it's been my birthday recently, in March. Unfortunately, we couldn't celebrate it, but you know, I received still few presents. I'm a very lucky princess, and I wanted to show you a couple of them. I wanted to show you what my friends, the Seven Dwarfs, made for me. I've got it just right here with me on the table. Let's see if you recognize it. It's me! It's me! It's Snow White! How lovely she is! Yes, they made it themselves. I know, it's beautiful. She is beautiful, isn't she? My same colors as well, and the bow. I love her so much. I'm making something for them to thank them for their gift. I'll tell you in a minute what it is. I also wanted to tell you what I've been doing during this period of lockdown. I've been doing loads of jigsaw puzzles, and my Prince Charming for my birthday gave me one. It's actually a very good one. It represents all the princesses, well, most of them, but I'm in there, and it's like a stained glass jigsaw. I want to show you the picture. There we go. There are most of the princesses, and I'm just here. Okay, now I think it's time to read our story. Let me show you the book. This is the Snow White book. This is what we are going to read today, okay? Now, if you've seen other videos from our channel Once Upon a Story, you might already know that when I read you a story, you're not going to see me, okay? But you are going to see some lovely pictures from the movie and from the book as well, okay? And I'll see you later, don't worry, as soon as we finish the story to say our goodbyes, okay? So see you in a bit. Bye bye, enjoy! Long ago, there lived a kind princess named Snow White. Her wicked stepmother, the queen, feared that someday Snow White's beauty would outshine her own. So she forced the princess to dress in rags and work like a servant. But nothing could spoil Snow White's sweet nature. Each day, the queen consulted her magic mirror. She always asked the same question. Magic mirror on the wall, who's the fairest one of all? And each day the mirror replied, you are the fairest one of all. But one morning, the mirror said that Snow White was the most beautiful woman in all the land. The queen flew into a jealous rage. Meanwhile, Snow White attended to her chores and sang a wish into a wishing well. She hoped that, someday soon, she would meet a prince and fall in love. Little did she know that a handsome prince had overheard her song. The prince fell in love with the princess instantly. Snow White was shy at first and fled back to the castle, but as the prince sang a love song, she began to fall in love too. The next morning, the jealous queen plotted against the princess. She ordered her royal huntsman to take Snow White far into the forest, kill her, and bring back her heart in a box. The huntsman led the princess into the forest, but he could not bring himself to kill her. He told Snow White to hide in the forest, and he took an animal's heart back to the queen instead. Snow White wandered deep into the forest. She was scared, but some friendly forest animals led her to a little cottage. "Oh, it's adorable," Snow White cried. "Just like a doll's house." She tried the door, and it swung open. "Hello? May I come in?" Snow White called, but no one answered. Snow White stepped inside the cottage and saw 7 little chairs. She thought that 7 little children must live there. "And from the look of this table, 7 untidy little children," she said, holding up a rather smelly sock. "We'll clean the house and surprise them," said Snow White. "Then maybe they'll let me stay." So, with the help of her forest friends, Snow White dusted and cleaned the little cottage. Then she lay across 3 of the tiny beds and fell fast asleep. Evening came, and the owners of the cottage made their way home. They were 7 dwarfs who worked in diamond mines deep in the heart of the mountain. Singing a jolly tune as they marched along, they had no idea of the surprise waiting for them. As soon as they entered the cottage, they knew something wasn't quite right. Their home had been cleaned. The floor had been swept, and there was a delicious smell coming from a pot on the fire. "There's dirty work afoot," grumbled the dwarf called Grumpy. The 7 dwarfs searched the cottage for an intruder. They reached the bedroom just as Snow White was waking up. "Who are you?" they asked. "My name is Snow White," said the princess. She explained why she was there. Then she asked the little men who they were. The dwarfs told the princess their names, and she easily guessed who was who. They were called Doc, Happy, Sneezy, Sleepy, Bashful, Grumpy, and Dopey. Snow White introduced herself and told the dwarfs about the evil queen. "Please don't send me away," she said. The dwarfs felt sorry for Snow White and agreed to let her stay. That evening, the cottage was filled with music and laughter. After enjoying a delicious dinner cooked by Snow White, the dwarfs sang and danced to welcome the princess to their home. Snow White was so happy that she soon forgot all about her wicked stepmother. Meanwhile, back in the castle, the queen was standing in front of her magic mirror. She asked the question she always asked, but instead of answering as she expected, the mirror replied, "Snow White still lives, the fairest in the land. It's the heart of a pig you hold in your hand." The queen gasped in horror. The huntsman had tricked her. The queen stormed down a winding staircase and through a dark dungeon to a hidden room in the castle. There she found her book of magic spells and used a terrible potion to transform herself into an old woman. Next, she dipped an apple into a bubbling cauldron. One taste of the poisoned apple and the victim's eyes will close forever, she cackled. The only antidote to the queen's spell was love's first kiss. The next day, after the dwarfs had left for work, Snow White was visited by the disguised queen. The birds and forest animals watched in alarm as kind-hearted Snow White invited the old woman inside in the cottage for a glass of water. They knew the princess was in terrible danger, so they raced to the mines to fetch the 7 dwarfs. The queen offered Snow White the poisoned apple. "It's a magic wishing apple," she lied. "Now take the apple, dearie, and make a wish." Snow White took the apple and thought of the handsome prince. I wish, she whispered. Snow White closed her eyes and took a single bite. A moment later, she fell to the floor. "Now I'll be the fairest in the land," the queen cried. As the queen left the cottage, the dwarfs arrived and chased after her. They followed her through the forest and up a mountain. Higher and higher the queen went until she came to a stop at the edge of a cliff. There was nowhere else to go. Crack! A bolt of lightning struck the ledge where the evil queen stood. The ledge crumbled, and with a shriek the queen fell, never to be seen again. When the weary dwarfs returned to the cottage and found Snow White lying silent, they were heartbroken. Snow White was so beautiful even now that the dwarfs decided to make a bed of gold for her. Day and night, season after season, they watched over her. Then, one afternoon, a handsome young man came riding through the forest. He was the prince who had fallen in love with Snow White by the castle well. The handsome prince had searched far and wide for the princess he had met that fateful morning. When he came to the clearing where Snow White lay, he leaned over and kissed her. It was love's first kiss. With a soft sigh, Snow White sat up and rubbed her eyes. The prince shouted with joy and lifted her in his arms. The dwarfs danced and laughed, and the woods rang with calls from the happy forest animals. Snow White was awake. Before she left to begin her new life with the prince, Snow White kissed each of the 7 dwarfs goodbye and promised to visit them soon. Lifting her onto his horse, the prince led Snow White to his castle, where they would live happily ever after. Someday my prince will come. Oh, I apologize. Oh, not very princessy of me. I was just having a little snack. I've seen this apple, so beautiful. I said, well, why not? Okay, I'll have it later. Also, I'm getting quite hungry. I'll tell you why. There is a lovely smell coming from the kitchen because I'm baking an apple pie. Oh, this is what I'm preparing for my friends, for the 7 dwarfs, to thank them for the beautiful present they gave me. I'm sure my forest friends will help me to deliver this pie to the 7 dwarfs, and they will love it. Before I go, I wanted to teach you some more words in British Sign Language, like all my other friends have been doing. And I know you've been talking already about food and drinks, but today I want to talk to you more specifically about fruit, so all the types of fruit. Or anyway, most of them. Okay? Let's try, shall we? Let's see what we can learn and what we can remember. We are going to start with fruit. Fruit. And then banana. Banana. Orange. Orange. That's like the color. And then lemon. Lemon. And then we've got 3 types of fruit. You sign it in the same way, but of course you need to be careful also to the lips, okay? So we've got apple, apple, and then you've got plum, plum, and peach, peach. Then cherries, cherries, strawberry, strawberry, blackberry, so the color black, blackberry, blueberry, blue, remember the color blue, blueberry, blackcurrant, blackcurrant, what else? Melon, melon or watermelon, raspberry, raspberry. And then we've got 2 more that I really like. One is grapes, grapes, and the other one is pineapple, pineapple. Some kind of fruit doesn't have a proper sign for their name, but you can always spell it. Also, if you don't remember them, you can always spell their names, okay? For example, coconut doesn't really have a sign for it, but you can spell it. Should we try to do it together? So let's see if we remember the alphabet, okay? So, coconut. C, O, C, O, N, U, T. Coconut. We can try to spell another one. Let's see, avocado, for example. Yeah? Avocado. So, A, V, O, C, A, D, O. Avocado. So everyone, that's all from me. I need to go because I'm quite sure the apple pie is ready, so I need to take it out of the oven, and I think I'm going to put it in a lovely box with a big red bow on it. What do you think? So they will know for sure that it's from me. Okay, so thank you very much for keeping me company today. Thank you for watching my video, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to see you soon, and stay safe everyone, okay? Bye-bye! Bye!